So we have a study funded by the William T. Grant Foundation, which is a domestic foundation here in the US. So they do a lot of international collaboration, and they're really focused on studying the use of research evidence. This project we have has yielded some really interesting findings. So basically asking three things, what strategies are people using to support evidence use in child welfare systems? And what's been so interesting, and the answer to that question is that it's been really varied in people's responses. I always kind of joke, besides the ever popular needs assessment, there's quite a range that people say. I mean, people will mention fidelity monitoring, using data for improvement, but there was kind of a range in the strategies that people spoke about. And then when you ask them a question about how you engage stakeholders and how critical the engagement of stakeholders is to any strategy you're using, the answers became more similar. People talked a lot about the sequencing of that, how important it was to demonstrate value, to demonstrate credibility, to join, to actively listen. And so that was really interesting, that there seemed to be more commonalities when people got to this piece around stakeholders. Then we asked some questions around how important are our relationships to the work of implementation. Mm-hmm. And Christian, it was basically like you could hit play, that people were saying such similar things. I mean, people were basically like, relationships are the foundation of this work. Mm. You need to build trust. Here's how you build trust. You demonstrate empathy, you demonstrate vulnerability, you demonstrate authenticity, you enter this implementation space with humility as a co-learner. You demonstrate commitment and resilience, because there's no question that implementation will have a set of challenges, and you demonstrate the ability to stay in difficult conversations, to stay in difficult situations, to name the adaptive challenges, not just the technical ones. And it was such, a master class, because when I was listening to these folks who provide implementation support, also do implementation research, as I said, it wasn't as if they weren't aware of the technical part of implementation, of the need to assess needs, to understand fit and feasibility, to try and garner buy-in, to develop measures of implementation progress, to develop fidelity monitoring systems, to develop communication protocols. Yes, these are all the things, but I think we've been talking about those things for some time now, and I think what we're not talking about are all the other things that folks mentioned in these interviews we did, which was about the relationships. And that's where it felt like a master class to me. It was like, yes, you can set up a fidelity monitoring system, but you need people to trust the process. You need people to trust the data. You need people to trust the selection of the intervention. And, you do that by demonstrating all of these kind of relationship building skills. And I don't know, to me, that's often what we're not talking about. And one of the questions we had at the end of that I think is definitely researchable is building relationships a strategy, an implementation strategy, or is it a moderator? Meaning that whatever strategy you're using is more effective if you have a strong relationship. And you could go even further and ask, is the relationship more important than the specific strategy?